Hey, I'll be live in just a little bit, just getting some final things ready. Kind of had an engagement beforehand that ran a little long, but be long in probably just a couple minutes. Part of the issue that I'm having here and why I haven't really started yet is because I can't find where this game is. Apparently it's on CBS Golazo. Remember back in the day when you can just scroll through channels and on your TV and then bam, it's just there. You don't have to dig through a convoluted menu to find your game. Those were the days. All right, professional streamer here, folks. Professional streamer, absolute top shelf. All right, I think we're about ready to get going here. All right. I think we're ready to go here. Finally. Sorry about the wait, everyone. And 3, 2, 1. How we doing, everyone? How we doing, everyone? Happy Sunday afternoon. Happy Championship Sunday for all you boo-hoes out there. Also, if you're a Spokane Velocity fan, welcome as well. But this is a Union Omaha-centric stream here. Ryan Fraley, how's it going? Ballham is checking in from London, England, and he is rooting for Spokane. Actually, he's probably gone by now. There we go. All right, Ryan, the game stream is on CBS Sports app, Apple TV. Finding was fairly straightforward. Yeah, I just had to dig. I don't use the Apple TV box for streaming. It's I use the old-fashioned browser. So Ballham asking me if I'm an actual zombie. Do I eat human brains? No, but I do like a hamburger. I do like an occasional burger now and then, which at one time used to be called brains. The more you know. Pope Squidius, how's it going, Pope? Welcome. So in case this is your first time on this watch along, and judging by the people that are in the chat here, I think we got some veterans here. In fact, our Belgian friend Carlo is here. How's it going, Carlo? I'm normally a St. Louis City SC streamer. I do watch-alongs for their away games. I'm always at their home games. Hang on 1 second. My OCD is triggering me here. Hang on. There we go. There we go. Much better. So I'm normally a St. Louis City SC streamer, as you can kind of, gather from some of the stuff behind me here. I am also a Union Omaha fan, and for the reason that Ryan just pointed out here, he's pulling for Omaha because they were the first opponent he saw at Energizer Park. Union Omaha came to it was then City Park, now it's Energizer Park, for the U.S. Open Cup that last year. They were the one and only game that St. Louis City hosted in last year's Open Cup. Of course, if you don't know, the Open Cup is a very big deal for St. Louisans. We just have a lot of history with the Open Cup in this city. And Union Omaha was our opponent. And they were really cool people. They were really cool people that came over. And this is a team that plays 2 levels below St. Louis. And I didn't fall in love with them, though, until earlier this year when I went there for their Open Cup match against Sporting Kansas, my hated rival, here in St. Louis. And they almost pulled off an upset. It was 1-1 in the 119th minute. And then Alan Polito did Alan Polito things and won it for KC just before it went to PKs, which I think Omaha would have had a chance had they gone to PKs. But when I was there, the people with the Omaha Parliament, that's their supporters group for Union Omaha, couldn't have been nicer. The president of the group, Hunter Fangmeyer, actually picked me up from the airport and took me out to lunch. I think he was just amazed that someone came up from out of town just for their game against Sporting Kansas. So yeah, that's why I am a Union Omaha supporter. Also, I know the whole you can't support more than one club thing. MLS and USL, they are 2 different things. They're 2 different categories. They'll never play each other unless it's like the Open Cup. So I've adopted Union Omaha as my club. They are playing for the League One title today against Spokane Velocity. Yeah, Baham, I was their new signing and new supporter. Yeah, exactly. It was. I mean, I pretty much. There was no. It was a handshake agreement, but yeah. Ryan, I'll see you tomorrow at the the U.S. men's national team playing at St. Louis tomorrow at Energizer Park against Jamaica. It's going to be the first time it'll be the 3rd game that the U.S. men's national team has played at City Park, but they're first against what I would consider an actual legit opponent. Like last year, they played St. Kitts and Nevis, and then they played Uzbekistan, like most random clubs you can think of. Now we're playing Jamaica, and that's actually going to be a good game, I think. But Union Omaha, yes. Ryan, they are going to go to the USL Championship. They are planning for 2026 for that because they wanted to coincide with their new stadium, which I don't think they've technically broken ground on yet. And exactly, that's kind of one reason I am following Omaha to see how they progress as a team. Yeah, because I guess I can say I was there for the League One days when they do get promoted. By the way, you may notice I have 2 earbuds going in my ears here. There we go. There's my directions. So on this TV over here, I do have the Union Omaha Spokane Velocity game going on over here, or I guess eventually when Galazzo finally decides to start broadcasting it. But then on my laptop down here, I am keeping an eye on another game that's going on concurrently. And that game is the KC Current at Orlando Pride. It's the NWSL, the National Women's Soccer League here in America. And they've had some really good successes. They've really drawn some good crowds in their playoffs this year. But this game, KC Current and Orlando Pride, the winner will go to the NWSL finals. And that will be held, no matter what, at KC Current's home stadium. I might go to that if I get media credentials. If I don't, I can't afford the tickets. The tickets are now going for like $300 now because the Washington Spirit won yesterday, and I think all their fans are just gobbling up the tickets. So this isn't going to be a KC Current watch along, mainly because there's someone that does those a lot better than I do and has followed them for a lot longer than I have. Kavincho is his name. He's also live streaming now and doing a watch along along with myself. Yeah, Ryan. Yeah. Look, go to SeatGeek and look up NWSL Championship and look at these prices. It's mental. But I mean, if they can get it, they can get that price. So I mean, can't blame them. Yeah, Jamaica tomorrow. Actually decent. It's Nations League, so there is actual table stakes. I mean, ish. I think it's still kind of it's I wouldn't call it a totally fugazi thing, but it does make friendlies interesting because you can move up and down leagues. They have Nations League A, B, C, and D. Like for instance, in Europe, one of the groups in Nations League D is Liechtenstein, San Marino, and Gibraltar. Like massive clubs, absolutely massive. But you can have, but that kind of gives you an idea. Like the best clubs play in Nation Leagues A, the smaller clubs play like typically lower. It just depends how successful you are. USA, yes, we're already got to get that going for tomorrow. I assume Jeremy, you're going to be there, right? All right. I need to get my clock going here. Actually, my clock, I did not set that up. Give me just a second here. Oh, you know what? It helps when I don't have myself on mute. So thank you, David. Thank you, Pope. I'm here. I'm here. Is anyone that's in chat? What I was saying that you couldn't hear me is was there anyone? Yes, Ryan. Thank you. I got it. Was there anyone that's actually from Omaha in this chat or from Spokane in this chat? I'm really curious if there's any Velocity or Union Omaha fans. I figure most Omaha fans are like physically at the game. At least you should be, quite honestly. Just curious. It turned me into a mute. I got better. By the way, speaking of Holy Grail, the Omaha game has not started yet. The KC Current game has, though. But I'm gonna focus mostly on Omaha. I was thinking of Holy Grail. One of the reasons I was late because I took a little bit of an exercise walk before I logged on, and I was thinking of the Memphis 901 situation. In case you didn't know, Memphis 901 is folding. Like they are ceasing to exist because they can't get a stadium. Like they have tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried, but they just cannot get a stadium off the ground, literally. And I lived in Memphis for a year, and I can tell you from experience that, to quote King Arthur from Holy Grail, "'Tis a silly place." Especially if you want to get anything productive done, because the city government is just not great. One reason the Mid-South Coliseum is still exists, even though it has generated $0 for the city of Memphis in 20 years, is because city officials can't figure out what the hell to do with it. There's been talks of saving it. There's been talks of tearing it down. And right now, and part of the issue is, I guess, because it has asbestos, so like it'd be just hard to just raise it to the ground without, for safety reasons. But Yeah, they can't figure out what to do with it, so it just sits there. But one of the places that a Memphis 901 soccer stadium could have gone was the site of Mid-South Coliseum, but it just nothing happens. So yeah, don't go to Memphis. Put it this way. I went and saw quite a few USL clubs this year. I think the final count was 6. And Memphis is actually one of the closest cities for me to get to as a St. Louisan. There's a reason I did not go see a Memphis 901 game this year. There is a reason. And the reason is the vibes were just off. They play in a bad baseball park, AutoZone Park. It used to be decent, but it's old and it's got old ballpark issues. Put a baseball stadium in it and put a soccer, field in it, and it's even worse. If you watch any of my USL away day vlogs, you'll know how much I don't like soccer fields in baseball stadiums. Of course, Union Omaha has to deal with that for the moment. Santa Barbara will be a good road trip. So, yeah, what David's alluding to is that the rights to Memphis 901 was transferred to Santa Barbara. And they're another club that is going to be in the championship in 2026. 2026 feels like a big year for USL Championship because you got Santa Barbara coming online. Union Omaha is going to be moving up in 2026, assuming they get their stadium taken care of. And also you got Ozark United FC that's going to be starting in 2026. And I feel there's other clubs that might be starting in 2026 as well. A lot of progress. Yes, Ryan, that's where the old USWA was. That's where Jerry Lawler and that federation was. That was in the Mid-South Coliseum. It's actually an iconic place. It's just terrible. Severin, he is from Spokane. How's it going, Severin? Welcome. I am like I said, I'm an Omaha supporter, but Spokane's also a very interesting story in their own right as well. I believe that you're another expansion club, right? Like I was just talking today about Rhode Island FC going through Indy 11, going through the death robots that is Louisville City rather. I keep botching that, and going through Charleston Battery. All 3 clubs in their own homes, and Louisville City and Charleston are the death robots of the championship. And Rhode Island's going to be playing for the USL Championship. It's absolutely amazing. All right, clock is synced, and we are away in Omaha. So, Viva Bujos. The Omaha Parliament sounding very loud in my earpiece here. Looks like a nice day in Omaha, too. What's the weather like there? It is currently 55 degrees, according to according to what Google says. It's actually 53 degrees. So pretty nice day in Omaha. Not the biggest turnout for this one, unfortunately, though. If you watch my vlog on Union Omaha from August 3rd, you'll understand maybe why they don't have the biggest drawing. It's because they play in a ballpark that is not very well configured to soccer, and the location of said ballpark is horrible. Here's a chance for Omaha. Good challenge by the Spokane defender and cleared. Early chance for Omaha. Early chance. Yeah, very sparse crowd there. That's yeah. Carlo, can't get into CBS Sports live stream. It's on CBS Galazzo, which you can get on a couple different places. Like, can you get Pluto TV? It's on Pluto TV. You can get it on Pluto TV. Long deflected. And we're going to have a corner kick for Omaha. So, yeah, those fans that are in the berm area behind the goal, that's where I was for the August 3rd game. It's actually, it's an interestingly shaped area for a supporters group, but really good fans there. Really, it was actually a really fun time. You'll watch the vlog and you'll see. In fact, I'm going to be completely shameless here, and I'm going to drop a link to it in the chat here. If you maybe like at halftime, you can see what I'm talking about here. Long setup here for this corner kick. Yeah, Pope, Rhode Island trying to be the first club since Sacramento Republic, those guys here, to win their championship in their first year. Header shot! It's in the net! Omaha's up 1-0. Max Schneider, the former St. Louis City 2 standout, gets the goal. Let's go.
To give Chelsea a place in the Champions League final. The headline has been written.
You know what? I'm going to give this one an STL chance because it's Max Schneider, the former City 2 standout. Rose up. I think that goalie might have wanted that one back. How about that? Max Schneider. I mean, it's a very nice header by him, to be fair. By the way, Schneider is actually on loan from Indy 11 to Union Omaha, by the way. Just a small anecdotal thing, but big start. 4th minute, and Omaha is up 1-0. That goal actually in the 3rd minute. Just about the perfect start that you could ask for. On a well-executed corner. All right, we are off. Woo! That's a rough tackle. Spokane player went flying. They gave the foul to the Omaha guy. I was just... don't think the Omaha player did anything wrong in particular, but still, it's kind of a dangerous play. One, two. You got the "We won 2" chant going. Catching up on chat here a little bit. I do agree Cardinals should move out of the AAA in Memphis and have their AAA team in either Marion at Mountain Dew Park or Springfield at Hammonds Park. I can see that. I mean, honestly, I think Springfield would be a good spot for them, honestly. Or, well, actually, there is a stadium they could play at, the former River City Rascals Stadium, which is Car Shield Park now. That would be interesting. I bet you a AAA St. Louis Cardinals team would draw pretty well at Car Shield Field. I bet you it would. Although I think part of the issue, though, is the Cardinals don't actually own the Memphis Redbirds anymore. Didn't they sell them to that big group that is like buying up all minor league baseball teams? Yeah, Ozark United, a very easy road trip. They wouldn't be any closer than Indy 11 or Louisville City. It'd be more like driving to Tulsa. You know, Tulsa's about 5-6 hours, closer to 6, honestly. I don't think Ozark United's that far. I think it'd be more like 5 hours. But yeah, that'd be a good road trip. And you can loop Tulsa into that as well. That'd be a good double header. I also have family that live in Tulsa, so they always like when I drop by and say hi. Yeah, Car Shield would need to have a little bit of work done on it, but I think they would draw. Or they could play at the Grizzlies Park out in Sauget. I think the Car Shield field would be better for them though. Partly because the Grizzlies still play in Sauget, but and right now Car Shield just has like a summer wooden bat team that plays there now. Also just location. I mean, I don't know how many people are willing to go to Sauget. Like they just hear Sauget, and it's like, in case you don't know, Sauget, Illinois is right across the river from downtown St. Louis, and it's kind of considered the Tijuana of St. Louis. That's where all the strip clubs are and all the nightclubs are. Where the Grizzlies Park is, actually, it's like on the eastern fringe of it, so it's actually not in a bad area, but still, just say Sauget, and it just has a rep. By the way, KC Current and Orlando still 0-0. That one in the 15th minute. Looks like Orlando's got a chance. They're going to get a corner, though. It was deflected away. Sauget Ballet. Welcome to everyone that has joined the watch along here. I see about a dozen of you here in the chat. Feel free to introduce yourselves and drop a like on this if you are so inclined. Just helps get this out to more soccer fans. One 0 Omaha here in the 8th minute. Been a pretty active game so far. Like sometimes, you know, one thing I've seen a couple of League One games this season. One at Forward Madison, the other one here at Omaha. And both games were kind of slow to start. Like there was a big feeling out process. This game really kind of almost feels like a car crash, like from the jump here. Like both teams are just very, very eager and very willing to push the issue, so to speak. Been a fun game to watch. But yeah, it's you know, just talking about the landscape of USL, like we talked about, Union Omaha is going to move up to the championship in a couple of years. A lot of new teams coming online in 2026. A lot of new League One teams coming online in 2025. Like I might make a trip down to Naples next year. I have family in Sarasota, so it'd be easy to say hi to my my elderly aunt. She always wants me to visit at least once or twice a year. So I can wrap in a couple soccer games while I'm down there because I can see Naples. I can see Sarasota Paradise, Jose Kojima's former team, and I am now a proud owner of a Jose Kojima signed Sarasota Paradise authentic jersey because of course I am. Tenorhead, how's it going? Welcome. You're a Spokane Velocity fan. Welcome. Got a bit of a hill to climb out of, though, down 1-0. It's been a fun game so far, though. Been a really fun game. But yeah, talking about the USL landscape, like, yeah, Memphis is going away. Central Valley Fuego looks like they're going away. They're not going to be in League One next year. The way their statement was, like, maybe they might try to find a different league to be in, but I know they had stadium issues and really just overall support issues. And then also Northern Colorado out of League One now. That's an interesting situation, Northern Colorado, because for one, they were kind of rivals to Union Omaha just because they are, you know, regional-ish. League One's so spread out. Like it's like Omaha and Madison are rivals, and like they are a incredible distance away from each other. That's just the way it is here in America. But Northern Colorado, they won the Jägermeister Cup. That's the in-season League One Cup as turnover for Spokane. They're going to slow it down, though. Yeah, Northern Colorado won the Jägermeister Cup, but they've not been paid by League One, and they're suing League One for that just because they haven't been paid. The problem is USL League One has been subsidizing Northern Colorado, and like they've been paying the players' salaries themselves, not Northern Colorado. So it's like a wage garnishment thing, basically. You know, Northern Colorado hasn't paid their bill, and so now all future earnings, you know, get garnished. Basically, it kind of sounds like that situation. But either way, they're out of League One. Who knows what is in store for them? But yeah, as Brian points out, building stadiums is hard in our NIMBY political climate. It's also just soccer has decades of perception to overcome. We also just as a culture, you know, our soccer culture has a century plus of catching up to do with England and Germany. So that's part of the issue. We just we're still turning. There's momentum behind the game in America, I feel, in the last 5-10 years, and I think it's really picked up in the last couple. But we're not there yet. We're trying, but we're not there yet. It's why like a place like Lynn Family Stadium at Louisville City is such a marvel, because it is a fantastic soccer specific stadium, but not a lot of those places exist in America yet, just because we're playing catch up. David, the stadium situation for Fuego without another stadium in the future was not sustainable. So basically, like kind of like a Memphis situation where it's just their situation was just not very tenable. And it's the same reason USL Fresno in the championship didn't work out. That makes sense. I imagine building a new stadium in the state of California in general is kind of a tough proposition right now. I'm not even going to talk about the Oakland Athletics situation without someone getting triggered, but that was an odyssey. When San Diego FC comes around, they're going to be playing in Snapdragon Stadium, which isn't their own stadium. It's San Diego State's. You basically have to be a Stan Kroenke to build a new stadium in California, I feel like. It is weird having two different games going in two different earpieces. Because I got the KC Current game in this one here. Still 0-0 in that one, by the way, 21st minute. Lewis shot. Good save. Good save by Totson. I need to figure out where I'm going to go next year for my road trips. I want to go to San Diego. I think I'll be in San Diego, hell or high water for that. I was talking about doing a California kind of a circuit. Another chance for Omaha gets taken away, though. Never mind. But I also got an interesting offer from when I did my Indy 11 Rhode Island videos from a Rhode Island fan that he told me that like next time I'm up there in Rhode Island, like I have a seat on him they are getting a new stadium next year. That maybe I make a trip to the Northeast next year. Maybe because there's a lot of teams I can hit up in the Northeast. Portland Hearts of Pine, swing up to Maine, that'd be fun. Bobby Murphy, the former City 2 head coach, now is going to be the sporting director and head coach for Portland. Good hire by them, by the way. He did great work at City 2. And also, I think it's the right move for him personally, just because I feel he kind of went as far as he could with St. Louis, honestly. I mean, the only thing he didn't do was actually win the MLS Next Pro title, but we flirted with that, 2 of the 3 years he was there. And yeah, definitely could combine multiple games in the Northeast, like Revs, could see the Revs. Could go into even New York City if I wanted to. Problem is, I just don't have a big desire to go to New York City. Am I weird? Like I've never had a pull to go to New York City. Like I'm not a big urban guy. Like I'm not a big city guy. I like St. Louis sized cities and smaller generally. I just feel like I would go to New York City and be completely intimidated. Cross by Schneider. Ball goes back. Shot near side. Hits the side netting. Did the goalie get a piece of it? I guess not. But another good chance here for Union Omaha. Yeah, California passed a new building law that streamlines things, but it's still a pain locally with NIMBY city councils. Yeah, that sounds about right. Also, I think the appetite for having taxpayer dollars go towards stadiums is at an all-time low right now, so that's another issue. Like Memphis, like they had a chance at getting some state money for a stadium, and then the city of Memphis got a new administration, and they decided to allocate that money to the Grizzlies because like they frickin' need it. Anyway, Matthew O'Brien, can I name any Irish players that played in the USL? I assume you're from Ireland, Matthew. Welcome, first of all. Irish players. I'm sure there's been a few. I'm sure there's a few. I've only gotten into the USL really this year. So like I am by no means a USL historian. For those of you that this is your first time on this channel, let me hang on here. Omaha's got a chance in the box. Shot near side. Again, they're covering all the sides of the goal, but just not on the inside of the goal. I recognize a lot of those fans they showed in the Omaha section. But anyway, Irish players. So no, I've only got into USL this year. I've really fallen in love with the game in the last couple of years, and part of the reason I spent a lot of time going to USL games this year is because I'm learning about the league myself as I go along. And I figured there's a lot of people like me in America that just don't have the awareness of USL. So I'm trying to, as I get my own awareness, trying to spread it as well from the eyes of a new fan. So Niall McCabe is one from Both Squidius. Lee Desmond with Sacramento. That's another one. Gonna have a another corner here for Omaha. Is another look at the Omaha Parliament. It's always nice watching these games and recognizing some of the faces you see in the from 6 hours away. That's what I love about this game of soccer. It's so communal and links people. Shawinga's got the ball for the KC Current, by the way. When she gets the ball, you just watch, although she got defended pretty well there, so never mind. 26 minutes, that one's still 0-0. Shot! Goal! Another goal for Omaha as I got distracted by the ladies. 2-0 for Omaha. That is Dolabella. One of their star players in the box. Right place, right time, good corner. Slams it home. 2-0 Omaha. And it looks like Omaha is on their way to a second League One title. One of the most dominant teams in League One. And they're going to get some hardware to reflect that.
To give Chelsea a place in the Champions League final.
Nice goal. Now, again, another set piece goal here. It is headed again by Schneider. Did you see that? I think that was Schneider that got another head on it. Ball just kind of bounces around in the box. Dolabella's in the right place, right time, and does what he needs to do with it. Yeah, 2-0 Omaha. Hey, it's Kane. Kane goes to games, by the way. He was in... Kane, you were at Colorado Springs last night. How was that? Catching up with chat here pretty soon. Yeah, David, this game's going to get out of hand pretty soon. Agreed. Set pieces are just absolutely dominating. Everyone give Kane a hello in the chat. Kane, our foreign soccer correspondent on this channel. When I do St. Louis City SC away streams, Kane, there's about a 50-50 chance Kane is actually going to be at the game that I'm doing a stream for, and he's come on here to do analysis. You're not in Omaha, Kane, are you? Kane says Colorado Springs was super fun. Loved every bit. Planning on going back for the final this Saturday. Nice. I might do a watch along for the final. It depends. It depends if I get media credentials for the NWSL Championship, because I'm not paying $300 for an NWSL Championship ticket. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to get credentials for that, and I'll vlog that game if I go. By the way, playing in the USL Championship final, it is Colorado Springs against Rhode Island FC. Rhode Island FC is a hell of a story. Hell of a story, an expansion team. They didn't exist this time a year ago. They exist now. They have former St. Louis FC striker Albert Dikwa on their team. He's one of their key contributors. They played all 3 games in this playoffs on the road. They beat Indy 11 at Indy 11. I did videos on that. They beat the Death Robots, Louisville City, at their own home, and they beat them like they owed them lunch money, 3-0. And then they beat last night Charleston Battery, Nick Marcanic's Charleston Battery, the other Death Robots of USL, 2-1. Just an incredible story. Yeah, and Rhode Island beat Louisville. That's incredible. Oh, that's right, David. You're a former Switchback season ticket holder. That's right. And I'm really glad, and David makes a good point here. Widener Field will be an excellent venue for the final. So it was Colorado Springs and Las Vegas Lights last night. And if Las Vegas Lights won, they would have hosted the final against Rhode Island. And they play in Cashman Field, I think, which is a former baseball field. It's not a soccer-specific stadium. So I'm glad that the championship final will be in a soccer-specific stadium. Widener Field, according to Kane, is pretty cool. So yeah, Kane says it's really a nice stadium. I need to visit someday. That's a place that's on my list, but Colorado is a little far. It's a little far. I'm going to explain why it's far for those of you that are watching from out of state here. So Omaha gets a free kick on a foul, by the way. But I'm just going to give you an example of how far it is. I'm just pulling it up on the Google Maps here. I'm going to show you real quick. This is why I may not be going to Colorado Springs anytime soon. It's 12 hours to get there. And not only is it 12 hours, it is a brutally boring drive. Like when you get to the middle of Kansas, basically this stretch from Manhattan all the way to like around here is just flat plains. Like there is nothingness in this whole stretch here. It is terrible. So yeah, that is a painfully long road trip. You'd have to fly to do that one. Otherwise, you'll just go insane out of boredom along this stretch right here. It is terrible. Yeah, 14 hours. It feels like 14 hours. It's only 12, but yeah, it's only 12. Only 12. And then, yeah, as Kane points out, Denver's airport is way out in Timbuktu. So it's still a 2-hour drive from the Denver airport to Colorado Springs. Not ideal. Not ideal. Ryan, I actually have a 2008 Pontiac G5. That's what I have right now. I had a 2003 Chevy Cavalier until that was in really good shape and, had low miles for its age, but it went to car heaven last month. So I had to get a new car. Like it's capable, like my G5 is definitely capable of making the trek. It's just, it's got 150,000 miles on it. And like, I want to avoid too long of road trips on that thing. Although David points out I could combine it with the St. Louis City SC road trip. Southwest does fly to both Denver and Colorado Springs. So that's a good point. I could fly directly into Colorado Springs. And yeah, Ryan's got a good point. KC to Denver is the most gradual and least noticeable ascent on Earth. So I made the trek one time in my life from St. Louis to Colorado Springs. I was when I was going to a Lutheran private school growing up, about 4th grade, I think this was, as long shot outside the box blocked. Casey Curran just scored, by the way. They're up 1-0 in the 33rd minute. I made the trek one time. I'm going to tell the story at some point, but now Spokane is threatening. Calls for a foul, not going to get it. Here, I'll watch this game real quick, and then I'll get into road trip stuff here. Okay, looks like Spokane's going to dial it back a bit. So when I was in grade school, we made a Bible study trip out to Colorado Springs. We helped rehab a retreat that's out there. It was actually pretty fun. Here's a quick counter here for Omaha, deep into Spokane's territory. Omaha pulls it back just a little bit. And they're going to slow it up. So it was a fun trip, but I remember driving to Colorado. I fell asleep around like the Manhattan area. Like I fell asleep because when I was young, I always slept in long car rides. And I remember waking up like hours later and I asked, where are we? And because it looked the exact same as it was when I fell asleep. And someone told me, oh, we're in Eastern Colorado now. And I'm like, no, we're not. impossible. This looks like Kansas. This is exactly like Kansas. Where's the mountains? When you're in fourth grade, you don't know any better. And they're like, no, I promise you, we are in Colorado. And then we passed the road sign that mentioned that we're in Colorado. And it's like, okay, I thought of that Dumb and Dumber line, Jim Carrey, when they're in Nebraska, that John Denver was full of shit. I was thinking that as Spokane goalie corrals it. Yep, KC went up 1-0 over Orlando. That happened just moments ago. Be a very interesting scene at the NWSL Championship if KC does make it to their home stadium. I heard Omaha has a chance in the box here. Again, this game is just pure action right now in Omaha. Should probably watch it more. Shot outside the box, goes almost into the Parliament. But KC would be the lower seed in that match. It's a nice shot of the Spokane watch party. That's pretty good. That's a really good turnout. That is a really good turnout at the Flat Stick Pub. Probably a cool place to be. Looks like it. Reminds me of Rhode Island's watch party place. But anyway, KC Current would not technically be the home team in their own stadium. In fact, I heard that the Blue Crew, their supporters group, would not even be allowed to be in their own supporters section. They would have to cede that to Washington because Washington is the home team, even though it's being played at KC's stadium. It makes no sense. There's a thing with sports leagues where they just have to be as arbitrary as possible. And I think that just feels like a completely arbitrary thing. It's like I did public address for St. Louis University soccer in the Atlantic 10 and NCAA tournament just in the last couple of weeks. Their women's team hosted 4 games. I was not allowed to show any favoritism to either team, even though they're playing in St. Louis's home park in front of a St. Louis crowd. And I have a personal connection to St. Louis University that has endured over 30 years. I had to be neutral just because it's just stupid NCAA crap. And it sounds like the NWSL is doing the same thing with the Current. It's unfortunate because that's a really good vibe. But I'm sure that stadium will still be full of Current fans. You can almost bet on it. Even though it does appear that the Washington Spirit fans are buying up all the seats right now because it costs $300 to get a ticket now after they won yesterday. Yeah, so 8 shots for Omaha, none for Spokane so far. That sounds about right, honestly. Spokane's had the ball in Omaha's territory. They just haven't really been able to muster a good, clean look at nets, although that might be cursed words there because it looks like Spokane's going to advance it deep into Omaha territory. Nope, they pull it back out a little bit. Nope, back in, turnover. Spokane continuing to build it up slowly. Trying to force something in the box. Really good D by Omaha, though, and that's going to be a corner kick. Omaha really doing a good job of closing up those passing lanes into the box, not giving them much. They should have 2 supporter sections, would create an awesome atmosphere. Not like the atmosphere wouldn't be too bad to start with. So Louisville City kind of has that, where they have the traditional wall with the Lou Coopers and the drum lines and all that. And then they have the riverfront side, which is just a couple of small standing rows that are not a supporter section in the traditional sense, but it's a very Louisville section. But Sporting Kansas has 2 supporter sections. They have the Cauldron in the north end, where Nebraska Furniture Mart overlooks them. And then they have the South Stand, which is also a supporter's end for Sporting KC. They have a smaller drum line. They lead their own chants. Honestly, I think St. Louis should do something like that. Honestly, I think St. Louis could do that and do it very, very well. But what do I know? St. Louis opted instead to have a premium yuppie area in the opposite end, so that kind of negates that. Because you can't build a new stadium without having, corporate luxury flu, in your stadium. You just can't. El Tráfico at the Rose Bowl with LA Galaxy and LAFC at opposite ends is incredible. I'm sure it is. I'm sure if there's one experience in America that you need to see, everyone's been telling me, go see El Tráfico, go see El Tráfico. That's like the rivalry in MLS right now. And I believe it. By the way, I noticed earlier Matthew O'Brien commented, I missed you because things got kind of escalated. Orlando is equalized in the NWSL Championship, by the way. It is now 1-1. By the way, what is that? Is anyone else watching the NWSL Championship right now? Am I the only one here? Because that crowd in Orlando is not the greatest. There's a lot of empty seats. Not as bad as Omaha, but it's kind of disappointing, honestly. But Matthew asking, difference between MLS and USL, just funding. Yeah, it's MLS has a lot more money behind it. They have a lot more big money investment in it. For instance, the franchise fee for MLS. In fact, let me look up San Diego FC's franchise fee just to give you an example. San Diego FC, the new expansion team next year, is paying $500 million just to be in MLS and just to be, a piece of the MLS, because it's a single entity. So you buy into the league. You don't actually buy. You still you own your. It's weird. It's kind of a weird ownership thing. Like you still own your club, but then you own entry and you buy your way into the league. And then everyone splits revenues, and it's a whole thing. My head hurts even thinking about it. But it cost San Diego FC $500 million just to get into the league. USL Championship sides, they only pay $20 million to get into the league. Big difference. There's just a gulf of difference between funding, and USL is definitely more of the Wild West. Like this game that we're watching today is in League One. If you have $5 million, you can start a League One team. I mean, you still have to pay players, and don't be like Northern Colorado and have the league subsidize your team. But yeah, you can. It just costs $5 million to get into League One. Well, I say just $5 million, like it's pocket change. It's not, but compared to $500 million, definitely. Yeah, Ultra Club's okay. But yeah, I to me the value is just not there. It's just chance for Spokane though, just couldn't get a foot on it. Pelaya's sliding in there. Really the first good look for Spokane in a while, unfortunately. Yep. David, I would expect you would have both games on two screens. I just expect that from you at this point. Again, I've got Omaha up here, and then I've got the Current down here. So I'm kind of doing the bobblehead thing here. Yep, 1-1 in Orlando. But yeah, Pope makes a point. Bigger stadium does make it a lot worse than the Omaha crowd. But to be fair, it's all about scale. That's a good reaction by the watch party. Yeah, it's all about scope in America. Matthew, to your earlier point, it's just there's completely different levels to this. I too feel the ADD. I mean, you guys probably have noticed that just with this watch along, just how much I'm talking about other stuff besides the game, unfortunately. Which honestly, that's kind of how my watch along has devolved into. It's just, I look at these as like a virtual bar. You go to a bar to watch a game, you're going to sit with fans and watch a game, chat with fans. You're not necessarily talking about the game the whole time. So that's kind of how I view this. Current just had a good chance in the 44th minute. By the way, is my connection okay for you guys? Because I keep seeing a notification on my StreamYard that my connection has been kind of flaking out a little bit. Has it been okay? It might just be because I have so much going on right now. I have 2 soccer streams going on right now, and then I'm streaming this out all in the same connection. So David says I'm seeming to be okay, so that's good. Corner kick for the Currents. Dabinia headed away. Not on net. Dolabella gets a chance here, though. Gets it taken away, though. Spokane could launch a counter here. Opts not to, though. Probably the right fray. All right, Carlos saying everything's okay. Sebien from Kane, thank you very much. Ryan, yeah, for some reason, he's always more focused on the match in the second half than the first. Well, that's the business end of the match, so that's totally understandable. And Ryan, I'm the same way. If you ever encounter me in the North End at St. Louis City SC games, I am a completely different person. I've for the last couple of weeks, I was in the 6th row center of the supporters end, basically in between the capo stand and the drum line. That's where it gets hyped. That's where it gets crazy. And I just completely lose myself in that section. So don't expect deep analysis from me if you're ever with me in the North End. I just go crazy in the North End. All right. Pope is also saying no problems on his end. Also have the stream and both matches on. By the way, Pope, thank you very much for buying a Soccer Zombie scarf, by the way. In case you didn't see my message, those are starting to go out from Alvin York. Was a little bit of a delay in getting those out from Alvin York, but they are on the way. Casey and Orlando in first half stoppage time now in the 47th minute. Sounds like Orlando just had an opportunity. Actually, I take it back. The Soccer Zombie scarves are now sold out, so you cannot buy those anymore. Those are sold out. So, but you can. You can. Let me find it here. You can still buy a Soccer Zombie jersey from Alvin York right here. Don't mind me shamelessly plugging it real quick. These are still for sale for $49. Post Squidius has one. I think a few of the people in the chat have one as well. I have one. I'm supporting Omaha today, otherwise I'd wear it. But yeah, those are still on sale from Alvin York at $49, and they did a great job. Kane has one. Kane, Mr. Sabien himself, had the audacity to put Messi on the back. Don't be like Kane. Don't be like Kane. David said he got his notification Friday. Yeah, I got my notification yesterday. Pope is currently wearing his. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Pope. You also got a pretty impressive scarf collection, don't you, Pope? I think I saw you talking about that on Blue Sky, which, by the way, I am no longer on X. Well, I am, but it's just I kind of napalmed my account there. It's just an empty husk with one tweet directing people to come to Blue Sky. Spokane pumps the ball in the box from deep. Nuhu reaches up, able to beat Pelaez on that jump ball there. Gets up kind of slow, but he's Omaha's captain. He's like Berkey. He's like their Berkey. And he's been with the club for a few years, and Nuhu's a legend in Omaha. Like when they get promoted to, when they go to the championship in a couple of years, I'm sure Nuhu's still going to be their goalie. I don't see why he wouldn't. Oh, okay, Kane. It was supposed to say Messi, not with a Y, not an I. Okay. Well, you might want to contact Alvin York customer service about that one. Or maybe take a deep look in the mirror at yourself. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But anyway, yeah, I'm on Blue Sky now. I'm at soccerzombie.com on Blue Sky. I went ahead and decided to claim my own .com just for future use, but you can also make it your handle on Blue Sky. So I decided it was just a good time to do that. That just makes it look cleaner. In case you're wondering why I left X, I'm not going to get into politics. I will say I'm fairly apolitical though. I'm like Treebeard from Lord of the Rings. I have no side because no one's on my side, and that's what I truly believe. It was just, but I'm not a fan of hate. I'm not a fan of trolls and toxicity. I just try to cleanse that from my life as much as I can, which I know on social media is hard to do anywhere you go. That was part of it. The other part, it was just Elon's management of X, the pay-to-pay algorithm, the blue checks that now go to his own sycophants, his, and engagement farmers, the people that just post, random videos for engagement purposes, just absolutely soulless vessels. I'm going into a rant here. I apologize. But I got sick of that. And then the final straw was the fact that now if you post on X, and I'm going to call it by X because it no longer resembles Twitter to me. If you post on X, his third-party grok can just steal your content for any reason. And your consent is your continued participation on the website. There's no opt-out now. You just automatically you can have your stuff ripped off by third-party AI, and I'm not down with that. I'm just not down with that. Anyway, NWSL game is at the half. So I can take a break from that. Yep, rip Twitter. I feel bad about it because Twitter was where I built a lot of my base. It was my home, for interacting with people. And if it weren't for a lot of soccer and St. Louis City SC people migrating to Blue Sky right away, I might still be on there, honestly. But a lot of people have moved to Blue Sky, and that's why I made the move. Yeah, Ryan, as an electric car guy who once looked up Elon, disappointments deep and dark. Yeah, my friend Brad Whiteside's in the same boat because he likes Teslas and he likes, he actually likes Cybertrucks. I know it's weird, but like he's into that sort of thing. But then he can't abide by Elon either. Yeah, Pope X is basically late Cinemax HBO type cable. That is so true. That is actually a very accurate statement, honestly. Yeah. Yeah, Ryan made the decision to pull the cord regardless of whatever folks followed him or not. That's fair. I mean, I have skin in the game, so that was part of my issue. Can Omaha get a third goal here before stoppage time? Just 2 minutes. Seems kind of short. Field goal is good by Gallardo. Goes well into the Parliament. As they say in golf, he caught that one a little fat. So it looks like we're going to go into halftime here with a 2-0 lead. But yeah, to Ryan's point, engagement's already up 10 times on Blue Sky compared to Twitter, so it benefited him to stand on business and principle. That kind of contributed to my leaving of X as well, because I'm already. In fact, I'll just show you real quick an example of why I made the move. I'm already got almost 1,000 followers on Blue Sky, and it also kind of gave me a chance to reset my timeline a little bit because my my former Twitter account had a few past lives on it, so to speak. It wasn't always just a soccer Twitter; it was a hockey Twitter at one point, and it was just kind of before then it was just kind of like random stuff. It had some past lives on it, and I was meaning to kind of call it anyway. So this kind of gave me a chance to reset it. But yeah, I've already got almost 1,000 followers on Blue Sky, and like a lot of those came on in the last week. So that just kind of, from a personal standpoint, kind of helped push me out of Twitter and just commit to Blue Sky. And so far, it seems to be a pretty good place. So far. Another dead ball opportunity for Omaha. They're really good at these. Gallardo's probably going to look to put this one in the box. It's a good-looking ball on the far side, headed out of play, and that will be the end of the first half. So Union Omaha leads 2-0 over the Spokane Velocity. As it looks like Omaha is going to be on their way to their second League One title. Again, they're a very dominant club in League One over the years, and they only have one title to really kind of show for that. So it looks like number 2 is coming. I almost went to Omaha today, by the way. I almost did. My car situation was a reason why I didn't, just because I only my G5 needed some repairs, and I had to get it like titled and licensed and all that. And I just got that done Thursday. So just the timing, and I had to buy it. So like it just didn't work out. So I'm here instead. Thoughts on the game so far? I mean, it's been pretty much all Omaha. I mean, Spokane's had their glimmers of hope there for a bit, but you know, it's been a pretty pretty dominant performance by Omaha, if I must say. In fact, if we look at the, I mean, the stats kind of tell a lot of the story here. I'll go ahead and pop up the FOTMOB on here. I mean, Spokane, I see where Spokane's definitely had more possession, 55-45, but they haven't been able to do anything with it. Like these they only have one shot, not even one on target. They had one big chance. I find it interesting though, the FOTMOB says that Omaha didn't have big chances, even though they scored 2 goals. Like FOTMOB's not the end all be all. Let's just say that. But 10 shots, 3 on target, 2 of them have been scored. Spokane committing a lot of fouls. That checks out. But yeah, it's just Omaha's been able to basically do what they want when they have the ball on their feet and in the box. And that is the story of this game. All right, I am going to step away for just a little bit. I'll probably come back around the time that the current game gets going again here in the second half. But I need to just take care of a couple things. I will be right back for the second half of Union Omaha and Spokane Velocity. See you in a bit. All right, coming back here in just a little bit. And we are back. We are back as Casey Curran have resumed at Orlando. It's 1-1, 46th minute there, which means that we should be getting going with League One here in just a little bit. Ballum, how's it going? He is back and looks to be a bad defeat for Spokane low key. Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? By the way, as is the standard for me on these streams, I forgot about my timer again. So at the 53rd minute, I'm going to watch and I'll get this going again in the 53rd minute. In the meantime, I'll give timestamps. Sorry about that. Feel kind of bad. This is like everything, like it's an exciting time of the year for soccer in America, but like at the same time, everything's winding down. Although in the future, this time of year, we could be just getting going because we might be switching to that fall to spring schedule. What do you guys think about that? The fall to spring schedule. We had a good talk about that last night when we recorded River City Ramble. We're going to have probably 2 episodes of that, by the way, coming up this week. But I'm kind of conflicted on that, honestly. I'm thinking with the I'm just trying to find something on social media right now, but I'm thinking that it might not be a bad idea for 2026 as a solution to the World Cup, because the World Cup's going to cause a big issue with MLS as it stands now, because it's right in the middle of the season, essentially. And it's, of course, World Cup 2026 is being held in North America, US, Canada, and Mexico. And you would have a big issue with figuring out how to do an MLS season around that. Maybe pushing it to a fall to spring in that year alone just to see how it works may not be the worst idea. And then you can kind of go back and reevaluate whether it is a good idea or not. David thinks it's a mixed bag, likes having a U.S. summer season, fills in when Europe isn't playing, which is a benefit because USL apparently would also shift if MLS does this as well. But there's always something good going on. I agree. But at the same time, in the summer, MLS only really has to compete against Major League Baseball, which is kind of a fading sport, in my opinion. I mean, it's still strong, but like it definitely is feeling less and less like America's pastime as time goes on. But moving to fall to spring means MLS would have to compete against NFL. You would have NHL, NBA all season, NFL the whole season, and the college football the whole season, which is a big deal in America. College basketball in America, which is not as much of a big deal, but it's still a big deal. And of course, you would have Premier League, Bundesliga, all the European leagues that Americans like to watch. And you're basically telling Americans that you can still get up early to watch Premier League and Bundesliga and those games, but then you still got to watch MLS later that day, which you kind of do already. There's a bit of overlap with the seasons, but like asking fans to do that the whole season, I mean, that's a big commitment you're asking for fans. Not only that, but yes, there is the cold weather aspect of it because it gets a lot colder in America in the winter than it does in England typically. Scotland's closer to us winter-wise, but like places in America get pretty doggone cold in the winter. And a lot of snow, a lot more snow, so you have to deal with that. Do American soccer fans have the appetite for watching games in like early February where it's in the 20s and there's 2 inches of snow on the ground? I don't know. But I brought this up last night as well. As a second half is underway, I'll resume the timer once it gets to 53. In the transition season, you could do a cup season, US Open Cup and League Cup. You could. I was thinking about how, because Liga MX has the 2 seasons, the Apertura and the Clausura, I think is what they're called. Brazil, Balm's asking, is this match on USL on YouTube, or is this only available on YouTube for everyone in Europe? For Americans, we have to watch this via Paramount Plus or the Golazo network, which is CBS Sports. It's not available on YouTube for us. It would be available on YouTube for, I think, people outside of America. So, or if you have a VPN in America. Oops, did I say that out loud? But to David's point, getting back to this about the Cup, one thing you could do if you're still worried about those early February games, because in the new schedule, as Omaha's got a chance here, cross inside, and my depth perception is terrible. It looked almost like an own goal, but it was actually deflected away. Ball bouncing around. Omaha regains control. Foul, no call. Spokane going the other way. See if Spokane can do anything here on the transition. Ball into the box goes a little far. It's going to be a goal kick. But to this point, that's on your screen right now. That I can get to it. If you're worried about those cold months, whether it's the first half of December or first part of February, because we would have the break in mid-December and all through January, play the League's Cup at the start of February in Mexico. That's when you do it. Or play it at the very start of December in Mexico or in the warmer areas. That's how you get around it. And it also solves the League's Cup problem. By the way, Orlando just scored. It is now 2-1. So it's looking like two outside cities that'll be in Kansas City for the NWSL. Yep, I'm watching here. Orlando is the top seed in the top club in NWSL, and KC is fourth. So KC would be an upset if KC did win, to be fair. But yeah, what do you guys think about that? Having Leagues Cup either at the first half of December or in like the first part of February to avoid the cold weather question. Also solves the cup itself, also gets Mexican teams involved. I think it could work, but then again, I'm sure MLS would rather have these games be in America because, money. But to me, that solves that. To me, that solves that issue right there. Because like in Brazil, for instance, they play almost year round in Brazil, but like they break up their competitions. Like in the first part of the calendar year, they'll have their municipal tournaments. So like all the teams, whether it's the top division, second division, third division, what have you, they all get put in groups based on their locality. So like all the Sao Paulo teams are in one league, all the Rio teams are in one league, and they have their own competition for the first few months of the year. And then they play Serie A and Serie B and their rest of the seasons. Do it like that for MLS and Liga MX. Just saying. And for Open Cup, look, I'm a supporter of the Open Cup. I believe in the Open Cup. I like the Open Cup. I like what it does for, lesser known teams. You could treat that like the Carabao Cup. You don't have to play your A squad in MLS in Open Cup. Play your next pro teams, play the reserves, play the young kids in it. It's what England does with the Carabao Cup. Just me, though. It makes too much sense, which is probably why it won't happen, because U.S. soccer tends to do a lot of nonsensical things. Spokane shooting towards the Omaha Parliament. Yeah, Spokane really just has a tough time getting into Omaha's box. Omaha's been playing very tight, and now they have no reason to not play tight. It's going to be even more uphill battle for Spokane here, I think. If Omaha wasn't playing tight on defense already, they're definitely going to play tighter now. For some reason, the commentary is like way ahead of the actual game. Is that like that for you guys? I might have to restart my stream or something. It's kind of weird. The audio and video are not synced. All right, since my timer's not going, I'm actually like refreshing the game stream here. Okay. By the way, almost time to resume my timer. We're at the 52nd minute, coming up basically around this point. David's thought is one half season do the regional Western Eastern thing and then use the results to set up the upper seeds against each other and lower seeds in another conference. Basically, another fall spring season. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Because in America, you have all sorts of travel, going from coast to coast. I mean, that would be a way to cut down travel costs for teams. Also give teams some stakes. That's a pretty good looking ball by Spokane, to be fair, but goes out for a corner. right, when you see the clock going, that means we're synced up again. The horn section's really going off in Omaha too. You hear those trumpets? There we go. Oh man, Nuhu was way out for that one, but he ends up recovering it. Was there some contact there between Nuhu and the Spokane player? Let's see here. Ball. Oh, I think the Spokane player got the worst of that one, but let's see. Nuhu reaches. Or did they catch each other with their cleats? Falls. I don't know what Nuhu is complaining about, but it looks like he might have cleated the Spokane player by accident. Regardless, it's over. Sometimes in soccer, a lot of those are a big nothing. Really good ball movement here by Omaha. Cleared away, going to be a corner for Omaha. We know how Omaha loves a good corner kick. I really wish there was more people at this Omaha game. Like, this is another one of those things that's like American soccer culture has to catch up to our European counterparts big time on. I mean, this is the biggest game of the year for Omaha, and the crowd looks like just like any other crowd. And it's like, it's Omaha. I I like Omaha. I like the downtown area. It's nice, but it's still Omaha. Like, you don't have that much to do in Omaha. Corbett, how's it going? I'm watching on Paramount Plus in America, the CBS Sports Golazo channel, which you can get on Pluto TV. This game is also, if you're out of America, it is available on YouTube. Just look for USL on YouTube if you're outside of America, because they stream those for international. Yeah, that play right there, just kind of how it's gone for Spokane this game. They the only way they can get a ball in the box is if they hoof it in there and kind of hope someone gets some space, but there's no space to be had. But yeah, David, to your point, I mean, Spokane is increasing the pressure. It's just Omaha's not breaking. Oh, he's got some space here. Good ball forward. but just too long. Just too long. But that was about as much as a Spokane player has penetrated Omaha's defense today. They just couldn't do anything with it, though. So Omaha going to get another chance here. Kunga trying to shake his defender, fires a squibber. Bit of a worm burner. Spokane goalie corrals it. You know, David, it's interesting. I do agree with that because Spokane's an expansion side, and they came together at the right time to make this run here. We were talking about Rhode Island earlier, making their run as an expansion team. Like the purist in me is like, you know, just basically the Sean Deitch meme, you know, utter woke nonsense, game's gone, whatever, you know, blah blah blah. But I mean, at the same time, though, like remember when Leicester made their run in the Premier League a few years ago? Like it enchanted English fans. Like they thought it was. I mean, most of them thought it was great. And here in America, that is great too. It just kind of shows you that there is opportunity. You know, if you run your club properly and you know with proper investment, proper management, that you can succeed in this game. But I understand the argument, you know, against it though. Like, you know, what does it say about the other clubs then? You know, what does it say about an Indy 11 or a Louisville City or a Charleston Battery that they dominated a whole season, but yet they can't deal with Rhode Island? I mean, that's football. You know, that's football. But then you do get the chance to have these great stories, you know, like with Spokane and like Rhode Island. Yeah, I remember that year. Yeah, West Ham was also having one of their better years, and then Leicester just went supernova. We have hit the hour mark in Omaha. Spokane obviously trying to patiently build up here. They're going to have to start upping the tempo here, though, as we're in the final half hour plus stoppage in this one. There we go. They hoof it up forward, but just can't do nothing about it. Was a whistle. That guy's got some jacked arms. Did you see his arms? Just he must work out. Spokane's going to get a sub on here. Meanwhile, in Orlando, still 2-1, 67th minute. Kane is about ready to become a soccer investor. He's going to start a team and call it St. Louis County FC. That's the play. That is the play. A play on St. Louis City SC. Love it. Love it. Love it. I love to see it. I definitely think the St. Louis area could support another USL team, even with St. Louis City. Probably would have to be League One though, just because of politically, you don't want to be too close to City. That's why St. Louis FC went away. But I think they could do a League One team. In fact, I would say you put a League One team in Ralph Cordy Stadium in Edwardsville. It's a good stadium. They would love a tenant there. I think that'd be a very good League One stadium, honestly. It'd be a bit of a drive for people, though, you know, because Edwardsville is about a good, 25, 30 minutes away from downtown. But that'd be the most logical place I could think of, for a club outside of. You could say you could do Soccer Park again, but That place floods too much. It's right by the Merrimack River. Is there a place in Creve Coeur Park they could build up, maybe? Yeah, Edwardsville is kind of in the middle of nowhere. That's the problem with it. I've never been to Creve Coeur Park, but I think City 2 played a couple games there in 2022. Like, could that be built up into a League One place? Yeah, David, it's really looking like Spokane does not have an answer today. As Union Omaha gets yet another corner. It looks like a decent crowd there to be from those stands. I mean, still a lot of empty seats, but it looks decent. Out to the box, chipped ahead. Could have probably taken a shot there, honestly. Tried to flick a quick header to Gomez, but I would have probably just taken a crack at and, get into that zone of uncertainty and see what happens. Yeah. Would have been would have been a kind of a tight angle, but I think he should have put it on net. I agree with the commentator there. Kane's team is going to be on a floating field on the Mississippi River. So are you going to be like the Tampa Bay Sun and have like ferries to get to the stadium, from across the river? That'd be pretty cool. Mississippi River does actually have a couple islands, near St. Louis. You could just put a team on one of those islands. Dimitri Payet was the man back in that day for West Ham. I remember he was big for you guys. And then he just kind of didn't he just basically say, I don't want to be here anymore and kind of forced his way out? Like, I think he went to Marseille. But now Payet's in playing for my Brazilian club, Vasco da Gama, who also have Felipe Coutinho of all players. That's interesting team. Very interesting team, Vasco da Gama. And yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, Payet forced himself out. So Kane's vision for a floating field on the Mississippi River, the field will be in the middle, but the stands will be on the banks. It's going to be a big place. It's going to suck when the game has to stop in the 30th minute because they have to let a ferry go by or a barge go by. So Kane thinks Creve Coeur would be a good spot for County FC. That's interesting. I've never actually been to Creve Coeur Park. Ooh, shot for the Current goes wide. Shawinga trying to do her magic. Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of Creve Coeur. You could definitely you can build Creve Coeur up. Yeah. I would definitely go to games at Creve Coeur Park. Sure. So when the barge goes by, it's a hydration break, quote unquote. Another dribbler for Omaha, easily corralled. Yeah, this one just feels kind of academic, doesn't it? After those 2 goals by Omaha, it's been kind of a drab affair, if I'm being honest. Honestly, the NWSL game looks a lot more exciting. Kind of a long ball to nowhere there by Omaha. Orlando's got a chance, shot wide in the NWSL. Still 2-1 Orlando, 74th minute there. All right, we have settled. St. Louis County FC is going to be a Creve Coeur. Nickname for County FC will be the Heartbreakers, and that is not up for debate. David thinks it should be partly fan-owned, a la Orange County SC. You might get some interest. I am also a new co-owner of Finn Harps FC in County Donegal, Ireland. I'm actually going to do a video on that, by the way. So Finn Harps they're a club in the second tier of the Irish Premier League, or the League of Ireland, and they've existed for 70 years continuously. Like, they've never dissolved or folded, but they've gone through some financial issues lately. They're trying to get into a new stadium. So, I mean, if you've heard of that before. And they have, for the first time, opened up memberships. So, I feel like I'm selling a Ponzi scheme here, but yeah, this is Finn Harps. They are based again in the County Donegals in the northwestern corner of Ireland. They're offering membership shares for just €25. You get voting rights, so you get to help vote on future decisions for the club. You also get some extra benefits too. So these, if you just go down here to the internationals. You get the share of Finn Harps. You get a free shipping voucher for their online store, which if you try to ship anything from Ireland to America before, that can be a little pricey. You get free digital match programs, and just you get updates and all that sort of thing. Honestly, though, the biggest thing, though, is that it's just a way to get invested kind of in a random club. Like I did that with Real Oviedo about 10 years ago. And now I'm a Real Oviedo fan of all teams. They might be playing in La Liga next year because they're having a really good year this year. And second league as Kunga, with the outside of his foot, slices it in.
Against Chelsea, a place in the Champions League final.
The stake
Has been
may have been driven right there. 3-0 Union Omaha. With 20 minutes left to go and Spokane not generating nearly as many chances as Omaha has goals, it looks like Union Omaha is about to lift their second ever League One title. Good for them. Good for them. Happy for them. Happy for them. Some good people in that fan base. Very happy for them. So, yep. In the box, headed onto Kunga's foot. Beats his defender. And just that's a nice goal, honestly. That's just a really nice goal. Look at the replay on this. He chests it. Doesn't just hoof it. He thought about it, but had the defender on him. But he's able to beat him. And just with the outside of his foot, like remember when Klaus scored that one off the outside of his foot? Nice goal. Just a very nice goal. Yeah, this one, I agree, Ryan. This one is academic. Start engraving the trophy, game, set, and match for sure. For sure. But anyway, yeah, I decided to invest in Finn Harps. I have ancestors from that part of Ireland in Donegal, so it's like, it's if I had anything resembling a ancestral club in Ireland, it'd probably be Finn Harps. So it's just a way to invest in it. It's just more fun than anything. If they fold, then they just fold. Like you're not on the hook for anything. But yeah, very good technical play for this level at the USL. Very nice play. This club should be in the championship, honestly. They just have to be. Pope is asking if St. Louis makes a play for an NWSL or a USL Super League club. I think they go for an NWSL club in the coming years. The stance that St. Louis, it would probably be the St. Louis City SC owners, honestly, because it's all female. Well, not all female, but female majority owned. So it just makes sense for their branding to own one. They can play at City Park. But the stance I've heard from them is it's kind of a wait and see thing with them. Like they want to focus on St. Louis City first and kind of getting them established, which I feel like they already are. But I understand not wanting to do too much at once. But I could see them getting an NWSL club in like 2026, 2027. It just kind of at this point, I feel it's a matter of when, not if, with NWSL in St. Louis. You would have the natural rivalry with Kansas City. That'd be a benefit. It wouldn't be a USL Super League though, because unless someone wants to make the investment and start one away from City Park, then sure. But like, I don't see Super League. I can see NWSL coming. I think one of the things that will help the case for an NWSL club in St. Louis is there was, and again, I'm not taking a stance here either way, but Amendment 3 just passed in Missouri that guarantees the right to abortion. And one of the things that NWSL has been very anti establishing clubs in states that have restrictions on, reproductive rights. So with that becoming a thing now, although Missouri legislature might still try to find a way to fight it because that's just what they do. But if that stands, then maybe NWSL looks favorably at St. Louis and green lights a team here. Kansas City was grandfathered into the league. So like that's why they avoid that. A long distance shot is saved by Waldack. Good save. That would have been a wowzer of a goal. Let's look at this one again. He's from a good 25 out. Goalie had to make a really good save on that, to be fair. Kane would rather have a women's team before another men's team, to be honest. I agree. I think NWSL should come first before we even think about another USL League One or Championship team. And I think, and my point was, and it should be NWSL and not USL Super League. I think NWSL is the bigger league, and I think we would have a more favorable infrastructure in place for an NWSL team over a Super League team. Final 10 minutes plus stoppage in Orlando. Orlando's still leading 2-1 over KC Current. Whoa! Car crash into the box. Nuhu going out for it, winning the ball. Spokane player goes flying. Spokane player. Okay, dude. You're trying to sell that you're hurt. You're trying to sell the foul. You don't get it, and then you pitch a hissy fit. This is why people hate flopping in soccer, because it's just like you when you do that. Absolutely ridiculous. By the way, Orlando just scored, made it 3-1. Marta doing what Marta does. So it's looking like it will be Orlando versus Washington in Kansas City at CPKC on Saturday. That one looks pretty academic. Marta is a legend in women's soccer. The best Brazilian soccer player playing in the NWSL. That tells you what you need to know about how good NWSL is. Yeah, that guy needs a red card. Like, you can't fake being injured and then just pop up and go into a hissy fit like that. It's just scumbag behavior. Absolute scumbag behavior. And basically every time you go down in the going forward, like it's going to be the boy who cried wolf. Man, Marta just absolutely sliced that Current defense. She had two defenders go down and try to block, gets around them, had a third defender come in, gets a shot off before that third defender can go in, just like doing all that with as little space. And then she beats the keeper, of course. Marta beat 4 Current players on that goal. 4. She's good. She is very good. They're showing replays of the Kunga goal for the Omaha game. He just got subbed out. Good game by Kunga. He was very dangerous with the ball on his feet all game. Really was good at beating his defenders, making things happen. And he gets a deserved goal there. It's a good reward for his good game. I mean, besides the fact they're going to get another championship. Yeah, Marta might. Yeah, she's been playing for a long time, and she might. Yeah, as David says, she might retire. And yeah, championship would be a good way to go out. I mean, is Messi actually? Like, I don't think he's actually like done with the Argentine. Is he going to try to play for them in 2026? Otherwise, that would have been a good way for him to go out. But I think he's going to try to make it to 2026, which he probably should. Honestly, he's still very good. Unlike Diego Maradona, he actually Messi does keep in good shape. Like, remember Maradona in the '94 World Cup? Like, he was just a shell of himself, unfortunately. Marta's retiring from international duty. That makes sense. Omaha really trying to get on Sports Center with some of these long shots here. Another long distance shot. Yeah, to be fair, even though the crowd's not the fullest in Omaha, they've been pretty loud. All right, Spokane's going to get a corner kick here. Sorry, I've been kind of quiet. It's just not a whole lot to talk about now. But here's something to talk about. A chance for Spokane to get the ball in the box, create some chaos, see what happens. It'd be a heck of a comeback if they were able to tie it up. Corner. Nope. But we'll do it again. Yeah, Omaha's defense has been just an absolute fortress this game. That field is not level. That field is not level. That's why you don't play soccer games in baseball parks. Absolute lack of standards. I'm kidding, because lower leagues in England don't have the best pitches either sometimes. Oh, this is going to be 4. This is going to be 4. No. Good sliding tackle. Very good sliding tackle by Gonzalez. That definitely was looking like 4 there. What a run by Gallardo and Dolabella. Just, yeah, that center back came back flying. Really good job by that defender. But Omaha could still make it 4-0 as they've been deadly on these corners. Far ball into the box, headed, bounced around. That one just going a bit too far. Feels like we're just waiting for the time to bleed out on this one. Kind of feels like that way too with the Orlando Current game. After they went up 3-1, it's now going to be going into stoppage time in the NWSL game. Results aside, I've got to get up to Spokane for either the Zephyr or for Velocity. Yeah, Velocity. Yeah, that'd be a good time. 12 minutes of stoppage in the NWSL game. Did someone die? That is a lot of stoppage time. In fact, actually, this League One game might end before the NWSL game now. Where did they find 12 minutes of stoppage? They didn't have a hydration break. That is, yeah, that's absolutely mental. Oh, is NWS? They're talking about NWSL After Dark. Is that a thing? Is that an actual thing? Because I know what MLS it is. It's not the current state of fly, but I'll need to complete the Kansas City grounds next year. CPKC and Children's Mercy. I mean, I have at least one game at Children's Mercy that you might want to check out. You know, when St. Louis is there. We'll have, I think we're gonna have one. They were playing 3 games a year between St. Louis and SKC last year and this year, 2 at home, 1 away for each. But I think next year it's supposed to go back down to just 1 away, 1 home because of San Diego being added to the league. It kind of balances out the schedule a little bit. Getting kind of physical in the NWSL game. Yeah, Marta taking the brunt of it. She's getting checked out right now. Pope needs to hit up KC for his baseball tour. I like Hoffman Stadium. I went to a couple games there a couple years ago when the Cardinals were in town, and I really like Hoffman Stadium. It feels like a classic ballpark in some ways. Like it reminded me of the old Busch Stadium that I grew up with in a lot of ways, and I mean that favorably. But it's got an interesting design. Um, is it a little dated? Sure, but I think it's still a good place to catch a game. And David pointing out, we'll find out if I can do a San Diego Tijuana double because St. Louis is going to play at San Diego FC in San Diego FC's first ever home game on March 1st. And there's a good chance there'll be a Liga MX game in Tijuana the night before. There's also, I think, the Santos in St. Louis, there are Hispanic Latino supporters group, are talking about going down to San Diego and maybe popping down to Tijuana themselves, which would be good because I'm not sure if I want to go down to Tijuana alone, but if I go with the Santos, I would definitely do that. So Kane knows what I'm talking about with Kaufman Park. It feels a lot like Old Busch Stadium. It really does. And then of course Kane also did the same thing that I did. He went during a Cards Royals game, so it kind of looked like a home Cardinals game. That it was the case when I went as well. 96th minute in Orlando, going into stoppage time in Omaha. Everyone is up for this corner kick for KC, including the goalie. Driven low, clear. We're going to do it again. Yeah, KC has the goalie up for this corner kick here. It's pretty wild. Josh Dowling, former City 2 legend. Curl into the box, headed away. KC's goalie's got a long journey back to her own net here. Orlando can't take advantage of it. Pope, for a cookie cutter stadium, Old Busch was great. I liked Old Busch a lot. I miss it in a lot of ways. I will say though, in the middle of summer, Old Busch was dreadful because it held the heat very well. Just with this design, it's very hard to catch a breeze in there, but I liked it. Only 3 minutes of stoppage in the USL Championship game, so that'll be wrapped up in 2 minutes. So yeah, the KC Kern game is actually going to go longer than the Omaha game, and the Kern game started before the Omaha game. Ooh, chance for Spokane gets headed away. One thing David points out, a lot of San Diegans, as Ron Burgundy would say, make the trek to Zolo's games. MLS won't change that, might actually increase it. I can see that. Ball in the box, set it away. We're about a minute away from a final whistle in Omaha. Flag is up for offsides for Spokane, so nothing doing there. KC's running out of time to get 2 goals here. Need about 2 in 5 minutes. Good luck with that. Against Orlando of all teams. Just bleeding out time in Omaha. Where's the whistle, ref? Ref. Ref. There it is. Omaha wins the USL League One title, second in their history. A deserved piece of hardware for their dominance in the league this year. And they are the first team to ever win 2 titles in league history. They have 1 year to make it 3 before they go up to the championship. To be fair, those Omaha fans are going crazy right now. They're pretty loud in my ear right now. Big moment for them. Look at the Parliament. They're hyped. It's a pretty full Parliament too. When I went, it wasn't nearly as full. Nicely done. Good for them. Meanwhile, can KC pull some late magic here? Shot block, going to be a corner kick. Yeah, when I was in the berm in August 3rd, the berm faces the sun in the afternoon. So if you don't bring sunglasses, you get blinded. Yeah, you definitely cook there. Very happy for Omaha today. Very happy. For a team that's so dominant in league 1 year in, year out, like, it's kind of surprising they only had 1 championship leading up to this. Now they got 2. Good for them. So now they can add another star up here. What a captain. Nuhu had a good game as well. I mean, the defense played really well, but Nuhu was also very solid, as he tends to be. Who is it? They're looking at a handball in the Orlando game. So it looks like the current game is going to go on for a little longer here. Is this going to be a PK? Yes. They are signaling penalty for KC. I'll hang around here until the KC game ends, just in case something incredibly insane happens. Yeah, that looked like a handball with the way the arm was moving there. She tried to pull it back into her body, but damage was done. All right, this is big for KC here. From the spot. What are we waiting on? There we go. And she scores. KC has life. 3-2 now. And they've got to add at least 2 or 3 more minutes of stoppage time in this one for the VAR review. Nice penalty kick. Got the goalie to go the other way. Rattles the camera. Long ball for KC. Headed away, kicked away. That Marta goal is gigantic. Otherwise, this game would be tied right now. Orlando just content to prevent any sort of penetration and then just hoofing it deep, basically. KC hoofs it deep back forward. Orlando says, nope. KC needs to actually build something here. They can't just, keep hoofing it like this because it's obviously not working. Although I say that, it finds a foot of Shawinga. Shot! That was a little hopeful. You had more time than that. You could have laid it off. You should have laid it off there. She did not have a great look there. Like she had 22 to her right. She could have just hoofed. Yeah, should have gotten it to 22. Should have gotten it to 22. Oh, chaos in the box at Shawinga. Crosses. Header just high. Just high. Yeah, what was Orlando doing on that? Shambolic at best. That was close. Wow. Just needed a better head on that, and that goes in. Yeah, she was a little bit behind that ball. I mean, it was kind of fortunate to even get anything on it at all, honestly. Crowder ready for the ref to blow the whistle. Long throw. Love the crowd chanting, blow the whistle. They're still playing. I mean, there was a lot of time for that VAR review, to be fair. Long throw. Bouncing. No one from KC can do anything meaningful with it. Good D. Header. That's got to be it. That's got to be GG's. That should do it. This game, how are they finding all these minutes? Like, I get that you needed extra time for the VAR, but 2 more minutes on top of this? After yeah, I'm kind of with the Orlando fans. What's going on here? I really want someone to do a deep dive on where they found all this stoppage time in the second half. Like actually go back and like cycle through like the amount of time where there was nothing going on. I'm really curious how that works out. Or maybe they're trying to get KC to have their championship in their home stadium. Maybe. I don't want to accuse the league of rigging this, but now it's over. Orlando moves on to the NWSL Championship final, where they will take on the second-seeded Washington Spirit. So NWSL going all chalk in their playoffs, unlike the USL Championship and League One, as they are about to lift the League One trophy. But yeah, that'll do it for this watch along. Thanks a lot for all of you who hung around. Omaha game was very exciting in the first half, and then it just kind of bled out from there. I may do the USL Championship final game on Saturday. Kind of depends on my NWSL plans, whether they come through or not. I know Musasek was planning on doing a watch along. Maybe we do one together. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, rest of your weekend, and be kind to one another. And see you next time.